Hello everyone, let's do our next exercise. So before proceeding further, let's understand the concept of loops and shift register. Okay, so for that you need to go your block diagram. Here's my block diagram. Let's maximize it. Now let's right click on it, go to structure. Here you will find two loops. One is for and another is while loop. Alright, so first of all understand the concept of for loop. Here's my for loop. Alright, now this n represents the loop count, which means how many times you want to run your loop. Let's say 10 times. Now create a constant, just right click on it and create a constant and write 10. Alright, now this I represents the current iteration of your loop. Okay, current value of your loop, which runs from 0 to n minus 9. Here my value of n is 10, which means it will run from 0 to 9. Alright. To see your current value, just right click on it and create indicator. Okay, it will show you the current value of loop. Okay, now find this terminal in front panel, just increase its size to 36. Alright, okay, if you want to see the execution of this loop, just hit this run button. Okay, it will run from 0 to 9. If you hit this run button, you'll see your value comes 9. Okay, because there's no time delay between the concurrent values, so it directly reaches to 9. Okay, so to see the execution one by one, gradually just add some time delay. Just right click on it and wait for, let's say, 500 millisecond. I think would be enough for this. Okay, if you hit this run button, you'll see your value will go to 0 to 9. When it comes to 9, my loop will automatically terminate. Alright, so that was my for loop. Now let's understand our while loop. Alright, just remove this loop. Okay, we'll need this. Oops, sorry, we'll need this. Now right click on it, go to structure and while loop. Alright, in while loop we also need to add some time delay just to see the execution. Alright, so if you remember in our last exercise, we add a stop button. Just clicking control. Alright, we add a stop button, and which means when we hit this stop button, my loop should be terminate. Okay, now as we did in for loop, we didn't add any stop button. So to run your for loop just like, sorry, to run your while loop just like for loop. Okay, which means I want to say if my loop run at 10, alright, my while loop should automatically terminate. Alright, so here's my current loop value. Okay, just click on this I, and this I will also is also representing the current iteration of your while loop. Okay, now if you just right click on it and go to comparison command. Now compare this current value of loop with a constant. Let's say I want to run my loop for 15 times. Alright, okay, now to connect the output of comparison with this stop. Alright, if you hit this run button, oops, you'll see your iteration. When it is reaches to 15, then it will hit the stop command. Alright, and my loop automatically gets terminated. Okay, so my next topic is about shift register. Okay, as you know, shift register holds the values. Alright, it also holds the previous values. Okay, so to add the shift register, just right click on it and click add shift register. Okay, now first of all you need to declare its default value. Let's say 0. Go to numeric and numeric constant, just add it. Let's say 0. Okay, now I want to add a value for every execution of my loop. Alright, my value should be incremented automatically. So go to numeric and then add. Okay, just click the output of this sorry, I didn't declare the add statement. Just click constant. Now if I want to add 2 in every execution of the while loop, alright, so here's my output of add function. Okay, so let's understand this. Initially my value is 0, so I think here I should create an indicator and write initial value and here I think write our final value. Sorry, my mistake. Okay, let's drag your line over here. Oh, sorry. Okay, now go to your front panel. Okay, so here's my final value, here's my initial value. Let's increase its size to 36. Alright, as you know, my initial value is 0. Okay, when my loop will execute, it will add 2 and then my final value come out 2 and then this 2 will come to here. Then my initial value becomes 2 and final value become 4. Let me hit this run button so that you can see the output. Okay, here's my final value 10. Okay, initial value will always be less than 2 then final value. Alright, okay, let's see once again. Okay, so that was it. So let's do our next exercise.